Good morning. Today we are going to prove one proposition. Now, what about the statement of the proposition? Let T be a compact operator and lambda not equal to 0, then delta lambda equal to delta lambda closure. What is delta lambda? Delta lambda is image of T lambda. Delta lambda is image of T lambda. What is T lambda? T lambda is T minus lambda I. So this proposition says that if T is a compact operator and lambda not equal to 0, then delta lambda is a closed subspace. A equal to a closure means A is a closed subspace. Clear? So moving to the proof, this is just notation. T lambda means T minus lambda I. Delta lambda means image of T lambda. That means image of T minus lambda I. So before going to the proof, we are discussing some result. Let Y belongs to delta lambda. What is the meaning of that? Y is in image of T lambda. What is the meaning of that? Y equal to T lambda x for some x. Okay. Y equal to T lambda x for some x. Here also x is from x already. Our assumption x is a Banach space, etc. Okay, we have all that results. All that assumption. So y equal to T lambda x means T minus lambda ix. Now we are considering new set. Ey equal to set of all z such that T lambda z is equal to y. What about Ey? Ey is the set of all z such that T lambda z is equal to y. This is actually the pre-image of singleton y. Okay, that is T lambda inverse image of singleton y under T lambda, because what is about inverse image of some, suppose A is a map from suppose F is a map from A to B. What is inverse image of some y under F? Set of all x belongs to A such that f of x equal to y. This is what Ey here. Set of all z under the map T lambda. Clear? Therefore, z is equal to T minus T lambda is T minus lambda I z equal to z is such that T minus lambda I z equal to y. Okay. Here we have assumed y belongs to delta lambda. That means y equal to T lambda x for some x. Therefore, clearly this, where is this x? This x must belongs to Ey. Once again, we have assumed belongs to delta y. That means y equal to T lambda x. That means this x must belongs to Ey. Therefore, this Ey is clearly a non-empty set. Now, some z belongs to Ey means what? T lambda z is equal to y. Okay, but we know that this y is same as T lambda x. Therefore, T lambda of z minus T lambda of x. From here we get T lambda z minus T lambda x. This is equal to 0. That means T lambda of z minus x equal to 0. Okay, that means z minus x is in kernel T lambda. So for any z, we can write z as z minus x plus x. We are adding x and subtracting x. Or this you can write as x plus z minus x. This z minus x belongs to kernel T lambda. That means this set belongs to x plus kernel T lambda. What is the set? Set x plus e. Some x plus e means this is equal to set of all x plus y such that y belongs to e. So this is of the form x plus z minus x. This z minus x belongs to our kernel T lambda. Therefore, this element belongs to x plus kernel T lambda. So now we are giving another notation for kernel T lambda as E naught. So Z belongs to x plus E naught, where E naught is equal to kernel T lambda. So if Z belongs to EY, then Z belongs to x plus E naught. So EY is a subset of x plus E naught. Okay. Now we are taking some Z belongs to x plus E naught. So Z minus x belongs to E naught, which is equal to kernel T lambda. That means T lambda of Z minus x equal to 0. That means T lambda Z equal to T lambda x, and which is equal to y. T lambda Z is equal to y. This implies Z belongs to EY. Therefore, x plus E naught is a subset of EY. From 1 and 2 we get, from this 1 and 2 we get x plus E naught is equal to EY. Okay, this we get EY equal to x plus E naught. EY equal to x plus E naught. So what is the meaning of that? EY equal to x plus E naught, where x satisfies the condition x is such that T lambda x equal to y, because we have to choose x like this, T lambda x equal to y. Okay, this you must remember. EY equal to x plus E naught. Okay, so for proving our this proposition, we are assuming one claim and we are proving this claim. So what is our claim? Let alpha y equal to infimum of norm of z such that uh, z belongs to EY. What is our EY? EY is set of all z such that T lambda z is equal to y. This is our EY. Clearly this set is non-empty. Therefore, we can consider set of norm of each element in this EY, and we are taking alpha y as infimum of those z values. Okay, z is clearly EY is non-empty, and we can easily evaluate norm z for each z belongs to EY, and we are taking alpha y as infimum of these values. Then the claim says that there exists a constant C independent of y such that alpha y is less than or equal to C into norm of y, or alpha y by norm of y is less than or equal to C for all y not equal to 0. This is our claim. We are proving this claim. After that, we are proving our proposition. So what is our claim? To prove claim, we are assuming suppose claim is not true. That means there does not exist a constant C satisfying this condition. Now what is the meaning of that? We are assuming there does not exist a C satisfying this condition for all y. That means if you take any value for C, then you can easily find some y or yi such that alpha y by norm of y is must greater than C for some y. Okay. So assume the claim is not true. That means there does not exist an upper bound for alpha y by norm of y. That is, there does not exist an upper bound for alpha y by norm y implies there does not exist a C such that this condition holds for every y. That means if you take some C equal to 1, then this is not true for every y. That means there exists a y such that alpha y by norm of y greater than 1. You can write this as there exists some y1 such that alpha y1 by norm of y1 is greater than or equal greater than 1. If c equal to 2, then also alpha y by norm of y less than or equal to 2 for y for every y is not true. That means there exists a y2 such that alpha y2 by norm of y2 greater than 2. Okay. So if we assume the claim is not true, so I am replacing for convenient, I am replacing this as some y1 tilde and then this. Okay. y2 tilde. There is no need to write all this portion. Okay. So if the claim is not true, if for each n belongs to n, there exists a yn tilde such that alpha yn tilde by norm of yn tilde must be greater than n. Okay. Therefore, for each n, there exists a yn tilde such that alpha yn tilde by norm of yn tilde is greater than 1. That means there exists yn tilde such that norm of, if you consider the reciprocal, norm of yn tilde by alpha yn tilde is less than 1 by n for every n belongs to n. Okay. Now clearly each term is positive because this is norm. Alpha yn tilde is also alpha yn tilde is, what is alpha yn? Alpha y is infimum of norm of z such that z belongs. So here also this value is positive. So each term is positive. Therefore this norm of yn tilde by alpha yn tilde 0 less than or equal to this value. This is less than or equal to 1 by n. So apply limit and this limit tends to 0. Therefore using by Squeeze theorem we get yn tilde by alpha yn tilde tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Okay. Now note that t lambda x equal to y if and only if t lambda of gamma x equal to gamma t lambda x and which is equal to gamma into y for every gamma. Because t lambda x, we are assuming t lambda x equal to y. That means t lambda is a linear map. T lambda of gamma x equal to, you can take gamma outside, gamma t lambda x, but t lambda x is y. Therefore, if t lambda x equal to y, then this condition also holds. Now, what about the converse? Suppose t lambda of gamma x equal to gamma y, then if you take gamma equal to 1, then t lambda x equal to y. Therefore, we have this result. T lambda of gamma x is equal to gamma y if and only if t lambda of x equal to y. This is true for every scalar. We have this result. Okay. Now, what about alpha gamma y? Alpha gamma y is Alpha y is infimum of norm of z such that z belongs to EY. Therefore, alpha gamma y is infimum of norm of z such that z belongs to E gamma y. Now, whenever z belongs to EY, T lambda z is equal to y and T lambda of gamma z is equal to gamma y. That means gamma z belongs to E gamma y. So actually what is alpha gamma y? This is the infimum of all z such that z belongs to E gamma y. Okay. So here gamma z also belongs to E gamma y. So this you can write as once again alpha gamma y is infimum of all those z modes norm z such that z belongs to E gamma y. Okay. So if you take any z belongs to EY, then gamma z must belongs to E gamma y. So we can replace this as infimum of alpha of gamma y is equal to infimum of norm of gamma z such that z belongs to EY. Alpha gamma y is infimum of those sets such that z belongs to E gamma y. Whenever z belongs to EY, gamma z belongs to E gamma y. Clear? So we can replace some this you can write as some gamma z, you can write as some w. So some w belongs to E gamma y. Z belongs to EY implies W belongs to E gamma Y where W is gamma Z. But what is our alpha gamma Y is infimum of norm of Z such that Z belongs to E gamma Y. Or you can replace this as infimum of norm of some W such that this W belongs to E gamma Y. And this is equal to infimum of what is W? W is gamma z. Gamma z such that what is W again? Gamma z belongs to E gamma y and that is same as z belongs to EY. Clear? So we can replace this definition like this. Okay. So infimum of mod gamma into norm of z such that z belongs to EY. And we are taking mod gamma is positive, therefore this is same as no mod gamma into infimum of mod z such that z belongs to EY. That means this is same as mod gamma into what is this one? Infimum of mod z such that z belongs to EY is alpha y. Therefore alpha of gamma y is equal to mod gamma into alpha y for every gamma. But for every gamma greater than or equal to 0, mod gamma is same as gamma. Therefore, alpha gamma y is equal to gamma into alpha y for every gamma greater than or equal to 0. This implies alpha is a homogeneous function. This type of function we got called as a homogeneous function. Therefore, alpha of gamma y is equal to alpha of gamma y is equal to gamma into alpha y for every gamma greater than or equal to 0. Clear? Now we will move to prove one contradiction so that our claim is true, because we are assuming claim is not true and we have to prove we have to arrive at a contradiction. So now we are going to prove one contradiction. So keep remember these things in your mind and you are taking yn equal to yn complement by sorry, yn tilde by alpha of yn tilde. Clear? Now what about norm of yn? We know that norm of yn tilde by alpha yn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Therefore, alpha of yn is, norm of yn is, here we have this, by Squeeze theorem, we have this, actually this norm of yn tilde by alpha yn tilde tends to 0. So here we know that norm of yn tilde by alpha yn tilde tends to 0. That means what about norm of yn? Norm of yn is same as norm of yn tilde by alpha of yn tilde. And this is tends to 0 because alpha yn is always positive. Okay, so if you take norm of yn and this is always equal to this one, norm of, and this is same as 1 by modulus of alpha yn tilde into norm of yn tilde, but this mode alpha yn is always positive, therefore this is same as norm of yn tilde by alpha of yn tilde, and this tends to 0. Therefore norm of yn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Now what is alpha yn? Alpha of yn tilde by alpha yn tilde, but alpha is homogeneous and all alpha yn is tilde is greater than or equal to 0. Therefore we can take this outside, and this is alpha of yn tilde. We can cancel each other and we will get 1. Therefore norm of yn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity, and alpha of yn is equal to 1. Okay. So now alpha of yn equal to 1 implies we can choose some xn such that t lambda xn is equal to yn, and norm of xn less than or equal to 2. We can choose xn b such that t lambda of xn is equal to yn, and yn is, or yn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity, and norm of xn is less than or equal to 2. How this possible? We have to check whether we can choose such xn. We have alpha yn is equal to infimum of norm of z such that z belongs to EYN. That means the infimum value is 1. We have already proved alpha yn is equal to 1. We have already yn here. Then we can choose where is yn. Yn is belongs to image of t lambda. Therefore, there exists a xn xn such that t lambda xn is equal to yn. Okay. This implies xn belongs to EYN. Okay. So we can choose xn like this, and we have to check whether norm of xn less than or equal to 2. So alpha yn we have this one, and alpha yn is equal to 1. That means this infimum value equal to 1. Infimum means greatest lower bound. That means some number greater than this number cannot be a lower bound. That means if you take 1 plus 1 by n, then 1 plus 1 by n cannot be a lower bound. That means there exists some z belongs to EYN such that z is less than 1 plus 1 by n. So if you take n equal to 1, then correspondingly there exists a z, and that z be some x1 less than 1 plus 1 by 1. if you take n equal to 2, then there exists some x2 less than 1 plus 1 by 2. There exists x3 less than 1 plus 1 by 3. Clearly, all these values are less than, actually more, less than 2. No. Therefore, there exists a sequence xn such that norm of xn is less than or equal to 2. So we choose xn nearly close to 1, so that norm of xn less than or equal to 2. That means there exists a, you can find a sequence xn such that t lambda of xn equal to yn, and yn tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. So thus we get norm of xn less than or equal to, that means xn is a bounded sequence as t is a compact operator. By definition of compact set, this bounded sequence as a, then the image txn has a Cauchy subsequence. Therefore txn has a Cauchy subsequence. That means there exists a subsequence x and k such that tx and k converges to w. This is image of txn has a Cauchy subsequence, means convergent sequences, Cauchy sequences is convergent, therefore txnk converges to some w. Now what is txnk minus lambda xnk? That's equal to t minus lambda xnk, that means t lambda xnk, and t lambda xnk is ynk. But yn tends to 0, and therefore this ynk also tends to 0. That means t xnk minus lambda xnk tends to 0. Okay, what is the meaning of that? T here, t xnk converges to some w, and here we get t xnk minus lambda xnk tends to 0. That means txnk converges to w, and w minus this term tends to 0. That means lambda xnk converges to w. That means xnk converges to w by lambda, and let this value be x naught. Okay, so xnk converges to some x naught. You are marking this as equation 1. Now moving to t lambda, t minus lambda I x and k, and x and k converges to x naught by the continuity of t lambda. T is continuous, I is continuous, therefore t minus lambda is also continuous. T minus lambda I x and k converges to t minus lambda I x naught. T minus lambda I x and k is t lambda x and k, that's equal to yn, and yn tends to 0. Therefore, this is converges to this term, but t lambda t minus x and k converges to 0. Therefore, t minus lambda I x naught must be equal to 0. That means t lambda x naught must be equal to 0. That means x naught is in kernel t lambda. Okay, but in the first part we have assumed kernel t lambda as E naught. Therefore, x naught is in E naught. Okay. But we know that Ey you can write as some x plus E naught. Here x naught belongs to E naught, and T lambda xnk equal to ynk. So what is the meaning of that? Xnk must belongs to ynk, Eynk. So Ey you can write as x plus E naught, means if you take some any x belongs to Ey, then that x must be of the form x or some k belongs to Ey, then that k must be of the form x plus some p, where p belongs to E naught. So here x and k belongs to Ey and k. That means x and k you can write as some x plus p. Okay, but Eynk is actually x plus Ey is actually x plus E naught, and Eynk is x and k, because this, what is the meaning of this x? This x is actually t lambda x equal to y. This x is actually satisfies the condition t lambda x equal to y. So here y and k means we know that those x such that t lambda x equal to y and k is actually x and k. So y and k is actually x and k plus e naught. So what is the meaning of that? X and k minus x naught must belongs to y and k. Okay. So E and K, X and K belongs to E, Y and K, and as X naught belongs to E naught, clearly X and K minus X naught is also belongs to E, Y and K. Now alpha of y and k equal to infimum of norm of z such that z belongs to E, Y and k. As x and k tends to x naught, whenever k tends to infinity, x and k minus x naught is tends to 0. That means x and k minus x, also x and k minus x naught belongs to E, Y and k. So this value, this x and k minus x naught is tends to 0 and this value belongs to E, Y and k and alpha y and k is infimum of this value. Once again, x and k minus x naught tends to 0 and that value is clearly belongs to E, Y and k and alpha y and k is infimum of those values. That means alpha y and k equal to 0. This is a contradiction because we have choose yn such that norm of yn is equal to 1. Ynk is a subsequence of yn and clearly norm alpha ynk also must be equal to 1. So this is a contradiction. Therefore, our claim is true. We have assumed our claim is not true and here we get a contradiction. Therefore, our claim is true. That is, there exists a C such that alpha y less than or equal to C into norm of y. So uh, this is the part of our claim. Now we are going to prove our theorem. So what we have to prove? We have to prove delta lambda is a closed subset. So for proving what we have to prove, subset A is closed. What we have to prove? We have to choose some sequence xn belongs to A and suppose xn converges to some x and we have to prove that x also belongs to A. This is the definition of a closed space. Where convergence sequence and the limit point is also must be in that set. So here we are choosing some yn belongs to delta lambda and suppose yn converges to y. And we have to prove this y must belongs to delta lambda. For this what we have to prove? There exists some x such that t lambda of x, delta lambda means image of t lambda. Y belongs to image of t lambda means there exists x such that t lambda of x equal to y. This is what we have to prove. Okay. Now moving to the proof. Yn, what about Yn? Yn is converges to y. Yn is convergent. Therefore, Yn must be a bounded sequence. Therefore, there exists a m such that norm of Yn less than or equal to m for every n. And by our assumption, alpha Yn, there exists a c such that alpha Yn less than or equal to c into norm of Yn. And what is the meaning of that? This is less than or equal to c into m for every n. Now, what is therefore alpha Yn is less than or equal to c into capital M for every n. Note that alpha yn is infimum of norm of z such that z belongs to E yn. So what about alpha yn? This is the infimum. Therefore, this alpha yn plus 1 cannot be a lower bound. That means for this yn, you can find a next set. Okay, xn belongs to this set such that norm of xn is less than alpha yn plus 1, which is less than or equal to alpha yn is less than or equal to cm plus 1. Therefore, for each yn, you can find an xn such that this condition holds. Now, if you consider these xn's, then xn is a bounded sequence because norm of xn is less than or equal to this one. Okay. So, but yn converges to y. xn belongs to EYN. Now, what is the meaning of that? By definition of EYN, T lambda of xn is equal to yn. So, yn converges to y implies T lambda of xn converges to y. That means T minus lambda I xn converges to y. As T is a compact set and xn is a bounded sequence, this sequence also has a subsequent, convergent subsequence. Suppose T xn k is the subsequence. Okay, xn k is a subsequence. That means T xn k converges to some z. T is compact. We apply the definition of a compact operator. So what about limit of T minus lambda I xn k? T xn k converges to z. T minus lambda xn converges to y. Xnk is a subsequence of xn. So xnk also converges to y. So we have limit of t minus lambda I xnk equal to y. So applying limit, definition limit of this t xnk minus lambda xnk equal to y, limit of t xnk minus lambda of limit of xnk equal to y, t xnk converges to y, sorry z, therefore z minus lambda limit xnk equal to y, lambda limit xnk equal to z minus y, limit xnk equal to z minus y by lambda, or we are denoting this as some x naught. So x and k converges to x naught. X and k converges to x naught as applying again continuity. T minus lambda I x and k converges to t minus lambda I x naught. But x and k, t minus lambda I x and k is, what is t minus lambda I x and k? Here we have. This is converges to y. Therefore, t minus lambda I x and k converges to y. This converges to y. And from here this converges to t minus lambda I x naught and this converges to y. That means they are equal. T minus lambda I x naught equal to y, t lambda x naught equal to y. Now what is the meaning of that? Y belongs to image of t lambda. Thus we get a some x naught such that t lambda of x naught equal to y implies y belongs to image of t lambda. That means y belongs to delta lambda. So we have what we have assumed. We have assumed yn be a sequence in delta lambda such that yn converges to y, and finally we get this y belongs to delta lambda. Y belongs to delta lambda. This implies delta lambda is a closed subspace. So we have proved one result. If lambda not equal to 0, then delta lambda is a closed subspace. That means delta lambda is equal to delta lambda closure. Okay, that's all for today's class.